Hello everyone, this is your host Ayush here, and today we are back after a very long time, and we are going to discuss the match of the current Candidates Open, which is happening between the top 8 players in the world for the fight to challenge the world champion Bing Liren. And let's see. And today we have a very exciting match which happened between Hikaru Nakamura, world number 3 from America, versus our Indian tiger Vidit Gujrathi. And let's see how this game was kind of very exciting with immense showcase of the grandmaster level preparation which our Vidit did in his match against Hikaru Nakamura. So Hikaru started with the move e4, Vidit responded with e5, knight f3, knight c6, and now we have bishop b5 in the game. So bishop b5 turns the game into a Spanish opening, one of the very sharp lines, with a response with the anti-Spanish move, that is knight to f6, which Vladimir Kramnik popularized quite very much in the year 2000 against Garry Kasparov. After this move, uh, Hikaru played pawn to d3. He's not in the mood of going into the classical drawish variation. He wants fight in the game and he played pawn to d3. With it, simply develops his bishop out to the c5 square. Hikaru plays pawn to c3, taking control over the d4 square, as you can see. Castle in the game, castle by Hikaru as well. And now Vidit played pawn to d6, defending his pawn on the e5 square, to which Hikaru responded with the move h3, stopping the idea of bishop g4 so that it can't pin the knight. To which Vidit says, let's maneuver our knight to the king side so that I can create a king side attack on particular f5 and then knight f4 ideas. Okay, Hikaru immediately played d4, taking control over the center, to which up to here we were seeing the bookish move, but with it, due to its very impressive preparation, he actually played one of the novelties in the match, and that was pawn to c6, attacking the bishop on the b5 square, to which Hikaru took kind of immense time, around 20 to 25 minutes, and then he played the move bishop to d3, bringing it back to the safety. I definitely believe Hikaru was evaluating what if he takes the bishop, then Vidit takes the bishop back, then basically it will be a kind of very weird type of position which we will encounter, that is c takes d6, and then we will have knight to g6, and basically this pawn will be a very weak pawn which definitely Vidit can win it back by placing his bishop on e6, queen on d7, and then the other rook on the d8 square. So definitely this was a very interesting line which Hikaru must be evaluating while he was playing. But Hikaru played the move after pawn to c6 is bishop to d3, bringing the bishop back to safety, to which Vidit went with his opening preparation and played bishop b6, also saving his bishop. And now Hikaru simply captured the pawn on e5. He saw that he's having more number of attackers, so he said to himself, why to leave the option of winning the pawn on e5. So Hikaru immediately captured the pawn on the e5 square, to which Vidit simply played a very classical good move, which was again a very surprising move, not for only the persons who were watching the game, but even for the world number 3 Hikaru. He was kind of very shocked by Vidit's next move. And even you can take time and try to guess what can be that particular move which Vidit played, which surprised the whole chess community. And that move was bishop take h3, bang. So basically Vidit's idea is to weaken Hikaru's king structure, and apart from that, if white takes a bishop on the h3 square, then Vidit can very smartly slide his queen to the b8 square, attacking the knight, and once this knight attacks and it tries to defend itself by playing the move knight f3, it will be just game over because of the move queen g3 check. You can't take the queen, don't be happy that white can take the queen, no, bishop is spinning that pawn, so queen g3 check, king goes to h1, queen takes pawn, check, king goes to g1, and then after knight g4, black cannot, white basically cannot stop black's attack. Black can even bring his other knight in the game as well, something like this, and it will be soon game over. So due to that, Hikaru was not able to capture with the bishop, but instead he played knight to c4, bringing the knight back to safety. To which Vidit responded with the move bishop to g4, simply bringing the bishop back to safety as well and attacking Hikaru's queen. Hikaru simply slided the queen to the c2 square. Vidit simply slides his bishop to the c7 square, and that is what unique about the masters. They are very good at positioning of their pieces. Earlier he brought his knight to here and then executed that beautiful sacrifice, and now bringing the bishop back to a much more active diagonal so that he can create some further threats. To which Hikaru responded with the move e5. It was a kind of discover attack Hikaru is doing right now, because the pawn is directly attacking the knight, and due to this pawn move, the bishop got discovered, which is actually attacking this h7 pawn as well. And let's see what VD responded with. VD simply defends his knight and brings back to safety on the d7 square. Hikaru very happily takes the pawn with a check, and after the king moves away, Hikaru brings the bishop back, because if you don't bring the bishop back, then after pawn g6, the bishop can get trapped. So that's why Hikaru brings the bishop back to the safety, that is to d3 square. To which Vidit responded with the move, that is pawn to b5, pushing the knight of Hikaru back to its camp. So knight goes to the e3 square, create further attack over the bishop. But Vidit said that I can actually defend this bishop by using support, and he captured the pawn on e5 and defended the bishop by using the knight support, to which Hikaru played bishop e2, which was one of the crucial mistake in the game. The reason it was a crucial mistake, because Hikaru was doing completely fine in this particular diagonal. He was having a very strong command on this particular diagonal and stopping with its knight f5 kind of moves. But after bishop e2, what's happening is that Vidit can actually play pawn to f5, which happened in the game. Not only it defends the bishop, it creates a room for the rook to come out further in the game and then go for the finishing touch. So after pawn f5, Hikaru played f4. Again, a little slight mistake attacking the knight, and Vidit surprised again everyone by playing a brilliant move, that is bishop to b6. The move was very strong, because most of us, after seeing that our knight is getting attacked, we will definitely move it to some of the safe square. It can be g6, it can be f7, but Vidit actually targeted the weakness of Hikaru, that is this particular diagonal, and to take advantage of this weakness, he played bishop to b6, pinning the knight. Now the idea is kind of very clear, that is, if Hikaru takes the knight on the e5 square, then Vidit can do PPP, that means putting pressure on the pinned piece. The piece on e3 is pinned, so how to put pressure? By calling out different friends in the zone. That is, knight comes to the d5 square, attacking the knight. And basically, if now Hikaru plays a move like queen to d3, for example, then he can bring the third piece in the game, and now Hikaru don't have any other piece which can defend the knight. So that was a very beautiful move by Vidit by playing bishop b6, to which Hikaru also even surprised Vidit by playing king f2. What a defensive move. And basically it was a crazy defensive move. The idea is to create some counter attacks by bringing the rook to h1 and giving some check to the king. But Vidit was completely prepared. He still went with the move knight to d5, putting pressure to the knight even more, and after this check, he simply slided the king to safety on the g8 square, to which Hikaru simply captured the knight of Vidit on the e5 square, and now, as we discussed earlier, it was just putting pressure on the pin piece. Vidit called all his pieces into the attack. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces are getting involved into the attack, and later you will also see the rooks getting involved to the attack as well. King goes back to safety, but it was too late for Hikaru. Vidit strikes on the e3 square, bishop takes bishop, and then after queen takes bishop, basically this is just game over. You can see from the evaluation bar as well, it's completely winning for the black side because of the very poor king and much more advantage to Vidit's side. Hikaru still tried his best, played some of the last move, bishop takes bishop, knight takes bishop, attacks the queen. Hikaru offers a queen trade, but Vidit says, no, I'm not in a mood to trade pieces because I'm having a better queen and a better position. So he gives a check first, king goes here, and now the third piece comes into the picture, that is rook to d8 check. The king goes to safety, but after queen to g5, it was a kind of discovered threat which Vidit is creating, which is pretty difficult to stop because king cannot move. So Hikaru create an escape square for the king, but after knight f1 check, Hikaru resigned, because even if the king goes to b2, Vidit can simply play knight to g3, and after winning this rook, it's just game over. In Grandmaster level, the other player can't actually defeat after having so much disadvantage in the game. So it was Vidit who not only showcased how strong he has prepared for the event, but by defeating the world number 3 Hikaru Nakamura, who is considered that a lot of players are predicting that he's gonna win this tournament. Vidit has made a big statement in his gameplay. So that's all from my end, and see you all in the upcoming matches as well. So bye everyone and take care.